The Crimean Bridge has been targeted again. Russia is tightening security like never before. New defenses are visible from space. Military convoys are moving non-stop. Why is this bridge so important? And what happens if it is disrupted again? Stay with us, because this update changes everything. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are discussing a major update from the ongoing conflict surrounding Crimea. The Crimean Bridge has been hit again, and Russia has responded by tightening security after multiple reported attacks. This bridge is not just a road and rail connection. It is one of the most important supply routes linking mainland Russia to the Crimean Peninsula. Over the past months, this structure has repeatedly come under threat. Each incident has increased global attention and raised serious strategic questions. Satellite images and eyewitness reports suggest that security around the bridge has expanded significantly. Armed patrols, checkpoints, and new defensive systems are now clearly visible. Russian authorities say these measures are preventive and meant to ensure stability. Analysts, however, believe the repeated targeting shows how vulnerable even heavily protected infrastructure can be in modern warfare. Ukraine has not always publicly claimed responsibility, but officials have repeatedly stated that key logistics routes are legitimate military targets. The psychological impact of these attacks is also important. They signal that distance and fortification no longer guarantee safety. In this video, we will break down what has happened so far, why this bridge matters so much, how Russia is responding, and what this could mean for the future of the conflict. Watch till the end for a clear and complete understanding. The first reported attack in the recent sequence drew immediate international attention. According to open-source intelligence and media reports, explosions were heard near the Crimean Bridge, followed by temporary traffic restrictions. While officials avoided dramatic language, movement across the bridge was partially limited for safety inspections. Engineers were deployed quickly to assess structural integrity. Within hours, Russian authorities stated that the bridge remained operational. However, independent analysts noted that even brief closures can disrupt military logistics. Supplies, fuel, and equipment rely heavily on this route. The timing of the attack was also important. It occurred during a period of increased military activity in southern Ukraine. Observers believe the goal was not complete destruction, but disruption. Modern warfare often focuses on slowing movement rather than total collapse. Images circulating online showed smoke near certain sections, though no catastrophic damage was confirmed. Russia responded by increasing patrols and installing additional surveillance equipment. Traffic checks became more frequent, and civilian vehicles faced longer delays. This incident set the tone for what followed. It demonstrated that the bridge could still be targeted despite previous security upgrades. For analysts, this raised a key question. If such a strategic asset requires constant reinforcement, how sustainable is its protection over time? That question remains central to understanding later developments. After the initial incident, reports of further targeting quickly followed. A second event was described as more coordinated, involving drones and possibly missile systems. While exact details remain classified, multiple sources confirmed increased military movement immediately afterward. Russian emergency services and repair crews were seen working along the bridge. This time, authorities expanded security zones beyond the bridge itself. Nearby waters were restricted, and air surveillance reportedly intensified. Analysts interpreted this as a sign that Russia expected continued pressure. Rather than treating the incident as isolated, officials appeared to prepare for a sustained threat. This approach reflects lessons learned earlier in the conflict. Infrastructure protection now requires layered defenses. These include physical barriers, electronic warfare systems, radar coverage, and rapid response teams. The bridge became a symbol of this strategy. Public statements emphasized control and stability, but the scale of security suggested concern. International observers noted that repeated targeting forces Russia to divert resources. Troops and equipment assigned to protection cannot be used elsewhere. This creates indirect pressure without large-scale battles. For Ukraine, such operations align with a broader strategy of stretching enemy defenses. By forcing constant vigilance, the cost of holding territory increases. The Crimean Bridge therefore represents more than concrete and steel. It has become a focal point where logistics, morale, and strategic messaging intersect in a highly visible way. Russia's response to the repeated incidents has been extensive and highly visible. New checkpoints were installed along access roads leading to the bridge. Armored vehicles became a regular presence. Soldiers now patrol around the clock, supported by surveillance cameras and radar systems. Reports indicate that anti-drone measures were also strengthened. These include signal jamming equipment and rapid response units trained to intercept aerial threats. From a defensive perspective, these actions are logical. The bridge is essential for maintaining supply lines into Crimea. Any disruption, even temporary, can delay deliveries of fuel, food, and military hardware. Russian officials emphasized that civilian safety is also a priority. Traffic inspections increased, causing longer travel times for residents and tourists. While authorities described the situation as under control, the level of fortification suggests high alert status. Analysts note that such heavy protection reflects modern conflict realities. Fixed infrastructure is inherently vulnerable. Unlike mobile units, bridges cannot relocate or hide. This makes them persistent targets. Strengthening defenses reduces risk, but never eliminates it completely. The resources required to maintain this level of security are significant. Over time, constant reinforcement can strain manpower and budgets. This is why the Crimean Bridge continues to attract attention from military planners on both sides. Its defense has become a long-term commitment rather than a temporary measure. From a strategic viewpoint, the Crimean Bridge holds exceptional importance. It serves as the primary land connection between Russia and Crimea, enabling the movement of both civilian and military traffic. Before its construction, supply routes relied heavily on ferries and air transport. The bridge changed that balance completely. It allowed rapid, large-scale logistics operations. This is why it became a strategic asset shortly after completion. Any threat to the bridge, therefore, has implications far beyond local damage. Military planners focus on reliability. A route that can be interrupted repeatedly loses strategic value. Even if repairs are fast, uncertainty affects planning. Commanders must consider alternative routes, which are often slower or more expensive. For Ukraine, targeting such infrastructure sends a clear message. It demonstrates reach and capability. For Russia, defending it reinforces the importance of maintaining control. The bridge also carries symbolic weight. It represents political and territorial claims. Attacks on it gain attention precisely because of this symbolism. International media coverage amplifies each incident, turning tactical events into strategic narratives. This is why both sides carefully manage public statements. Language is measured, and details are often limited. Despite this, the broader significance is clear. The Crimean Bridge is not just part of the conflict. It is one of its central pressure points. The impact of repeated security incidents is also felt by local residents. Increased checkpoints and inspections have changed daily routines. Commuters experience longer delays, and transport schedules have become less predictable. Businesses that rely on steady traffic across the bridge face uncertainty. Tourism, once a major economic factor, has also been affected. Visitors are cautious when security situations dominate headlines. Authorities have attempted to reassure the public, emphasizing that safety measures are precautionary. Emergency services remain on standby, and drills are conducted regularly. From a civilian perspective, the constant presence of armed patrols is a reminder of ongoing conflict. Psychological effects should not be underestimated. Even without direct damage, repeated alerts create stress. Analysts point out that modern conflicts often aim to influence morale as much as territory. Disruption, uncertainty, and visible security all contribute to this environment. At the same time, life continues. Schools, hospitals, and essential services remain operational. Local administrations adapt to new conditions. This resilience is common in prolonged conflicts. However, the situation underscores how strategic infrastructure directly affects civilian life. The Crimean Bridge is a clear example of how military objectives and daily realities intersect. Each new security measure reflects both tactical necessity and broader societal impact. International reaction to the developments around the Crimean Bridge has been closely watched. Global media outlets regularly analyze satellite imagery and official statements. Defense experts discuss the implications for regional stability. NATO officials have commented cautiously, focusing on the broader security situation in the Black Sea region. Diplomatic language remains measured, avoiding escalation. However, the strategic importance of the bridge is widely acknowledged. Analysts emphasize that attacks on infrastructure increase uncertainty, but do not automatically change territorial control. Instead, they influence long-term sustainability. Economic and logistical pressures accumulate over time. Some experts argue that repeated targeting signals a shift in tactics. Rather than large-scale offensives, precision strikes and disruptions play a growing role. This reflects changes in technology and intelligence capabilities. Drones, satellites, and real-time data have transformed how conflicts are fought. The Crimean Bridge sits at the intersection of these trends. It is visible, symbolic, and strategically valuable. That makes it a natural focus for analysis. International audiences follow developments closely because they offer insight into the broader direction of the conflict. Each incident becomes a data point in understanding how strategies evolve. The global response therefore combines caution, analysis, and continuous monitoring rather than immediate reaction. Russia's long-term challenge is sustainability. Maintaining heavy security around a fixed structure requires constant resources. Personnel rotations, equipment maintenance, and technological upgrades all demand investment. Every additional layer of defense reduces flexibility elsewhere. Military planners must balance protection with operational needs across a wide diaby. Analysts note that this balance becomes harder over time. As threats adapt, defenses must also evolve. Static solutions rarely remain effective indefinitely. This is why reports of new systems around the bridge continue to emerge. Anti-drone nets, radar upgrades, and maritime patrols all indicate adaptation. At the same time, public messaging emphasizes normalcy. Authorities stress that transport continues and that disruptions are minimal. This dual approach aims to maintain confidence while addressing real risks. For Ukraine, the situation presents both opportunities and limitations. Repeated targeting draws attention, but also triggers stronger defenses. Each side learns and adjusts. This dynamic interaction defines modern conflict. The Crimean Bridge illustrates how infrastructure becomes a testing ground for strategy. It is not only about damage or repair. It is about forcing decisions, reallocating resources, and shaping perceptions. Understanding this helps explain why the bridge remains central to discussions about the conflict's future trajectory. Looking ahead, analysts consider several possible scenarios. Continued targeting could lead to even heavier fortification, further isolating the bridge environment. Alternatively, sustained pressure might force greater reliance on secondary supply routes. These alternatives are typically less efficient. Weather conditions and capacity limits also affect them. From a strategic perspective, redundancy becomes crucial. No single route can be relied upon completely. This is a lesson seen in many conflicts. The Crimean Bridge highlights this principle clearly. While it remains operational, its vulnerability influences planning. Decision makers must prepare for contingencies. This includes stockpiling supplies and adjusting movement schedules. For civilians, this may mean continued security presence and travel delays. For the international community, the bridge remains a barometer. Changes in its status often signal shifts in intensity or strategy. Each new report is analyzed for broader meaning. Will the situation stabilize, or will pressure continue? There are no simple answers. What is clear is that the bridge will remain relevant. Its role in logistics, symbolism, and strategy ensures ongoing attention. Observers will continue to track developments closely, using each update to better understand the evolving nature of the conflict around Crimea. The Crimean Bridge stands as one of the most closely watched structures in the conflict. Recent incidents show how modern warfare extends beyond battlefields into infrastructure and logistics. Repeated targeting has prompted Russia to tighten security, deploying extensive defenses and constant patrols. While officials emphasize stability, the scale of protection reflects strategic concern. For Ukraine, these developments align with a broader approach focused on disruption and pressure rather than direct confrontation. For civilians, the bridge remains both a lifeline and a source of uncertainty. Internationally, each update feeds analysis about the conflict's direction. The situation highlights how technology, intelligence, and symbolism shape modern conflicts. The bridge is not just concrete and steel. It is a strategic node where military planning, political messaging, and daily life intersect. As long as the conflict continues, the Crimean Bridge will remain in focus. Developments there will signal shifts in strategy and priorities. We will continue to follow verified information and provide clear updates as the situation evolves. If you found this analysis useful, support the channel by liking the video. Share it so others can understand the bigger picture, and subscribe for more real, safe, and detailed updates on global conflicts and geopolitical developments.